starting off on the back side of our property. This is the east side of the property. Our property flows east and west, and it's a rectangular shape, and we have nice south sun all day along our long property side. You can see our property stake is in the back corner there, so we'll kind of show you the line and then walk our way up to the the west side of the property. So here at the southeast corner of our property, we have this big box elder tree. It was here when we came here, and it's just been falling in all these different sorts of directions, and the tree is just changing shape year by year. And we've just kind of left it. It's overtaken this trail that's fallen across, and we got big mushrooms on this thing, so we just kind of left it. This back corner, it's like gorgeous tree otherwise. Beautiful.
Which is dead.
Yeah, this is all done.
Which is dead.
Yeah, this is all done.
Honeysuckle. And a lot of black walnut. The main tree scattered in this little back forest area. The whole south border is basically the wood line here. We got some wildflowers growing up to it, even some wild berries growing right here. So you would follow the wood line all the way down to the driveway, and then basically the power poles going all the way down, just to get a reference for the whole south border.
The previous property owners, there's one big mother walnut tree up there, and they took all the walnuts and were chucking them down in the backyard, and now there's just not an overgrowth of black walnut trees, but they're scattered all throughout the backyard. And as we've held the property here, we've just left this back portion wild, and we haven't planted much fruit back here, but we've just left it start woodsing up, and we've done some trails back here, so we're going to walk through the trails here.
Over here we have a sycamore tree that we had planted. It's a member of the maple family. It's a pretty fast growing tree. I mean, this thing probably grew at least a foot or two within this year. It was not taller than us. So we basically have this right on the edge of the lot line here on that east border.
Yeah, these two blue Colorado spruce were already here before we got here too, so we're just trying to establish these lot lines as best as possible. So this will be a really big tree here one day.
And then the east property continues all the way down into that corner. There's some of those bigger trees. Can't find the actual property line for it, but there's a fence that kind of goes down right to the corner. This tree is not dead. Late September, it already lost all its leaves. We think through trying to identify it. It is actually an Ohio buckeye tree. Yeah, it's the first one in the yard to lose all its leaves. Pretty crazy.
So you can see all our paths that are walking on here. We've left so much wildflowers growing between like these pines and the oaks. There's several different oak types back here. Some more pines on the lot line. But yeah, the previous property owner used to cut and mow all this grass in this backyard. So we just did our trails, left it all, and it's really came back with a lot of goldenrod and aster varieties. And it's brought in a lot of fireflies and all different types of wildlife back here.
Alright, so we got mulch going all the way down basically to the northeast corner. Just trying to do it around the property line so that we could try and contain everything. We had transplanted a bunch of these. These are actually native plums, and we got them from the south side of the property. They just were there. All of a sudden they started coming in. They give us bowls of plums every year now. So we just transplanted them kind of poorly, but I mean they were all buried in mulch before. It all kind of went down quite a bit within the last year.
They're still alive though, and they'll be shooting off different shoots all over, so eventually this whole lot line will be thickened with a new sort of wood line.
We wanted to kind of cover this whole area. It's kind of open. We have about 3 different lots that join us on this north side, so we're trying to basically get it covered as much as we can, a thicker lot line. In the back corner here we planted a tulip poplar tree. It's I think it's one of the fastest growing trees, and it produces a big yellow bell-shaped flowers. We got that planted back here. There's just another plant to try and thicken the lot line a little bit, give it a little bit of dimension, not just one flat line. We have about 4 of these types of trees here as well. These are called hop trees. I believe they're actually a part of the citrus family. So I was reading before I grabbed these. But yeah, we got about maybe 4 of these along this lot line here.
There's another one right here. Another hop tree. Here we got a dawn redwood. It's pretty small right now, but it should be getting pretty tall. I think about 100 feet maybe. 130 feet tall. Biggest potential. Dawn redwood. So we're stoked to have that here. We're hoping to get some eagles nesting in here. Here's that mother walnut I was talking about before. This is what produced all of the walnuts down at the back side of the property. Sure, right here it's massive. As you keep walking up here, we have just some more plums. They're all losing their leaves right now, but just because it's September. But we got plums all the way in this maelstrom up here. So some more hop trees. We have several of these on the property. These are actually a Kentucky coffee tree. So we probably have like 10 of these scattered throughout. Started these from seed from a woods that was across town that we harvested some pods from. It's sort of a rare tree around here. You don't find it everywhere throughout every forest. So it was cool to see some start from seed here.
The nitrogen fixing, aren't they?
I believe so.
Yeah, the nitrogen fixing tree, you could actually make a coffee type of drink from the seed, hence the name Kentucky coffee tree. And then right to the right here, we'll show you, we got one of 4 varieties of bamboo here. I believe this was a black timber.
It's actually doing pretty good.
It's probably one of the better ones on the property. We have 4 different varieties, and this one's making it through the winter the best out of all of them.
And we're zone 5B here, so when we were looking up bamboo varieties, some didn't really make it well, but they're still coming up a little bit. But this one seemed to actually take the best, so 5B, it could be on the edge of zone 6 with like this bamboo that still could possibly thrive here, but...
And this is the north side of the property too, so it's the coldest normally on the property. So for it to be surviving there. And we also have the other 2 hop trees here. One right here, one right there.
And we had some rabbits nibbling at the base of this aronia bush here. So it came back this year. It's coming back at the base, but yeah, an aronia tree. Yeah, here we have a plum, another plum, and a honey locust right here. We have several of these on the property. The fern type leaves, we got a lot of honey locust because that's a good chop and drop tree for nitrogen for the plants and fruit trees.
We have a few of these on the property. The ginkgo biloba tree.
These are actually edible leaves. They're supposed to be good for the brain. Sort of resemble a brain shape.
We'll continue down the line here. We have 2 of these. It's actually coming up here on the line here. It's the Osage orange. It creates a fruit, but it's not an edible fruit. It's just another variety we wanted to try and include a lot of varieties, or as much varieties of trees as we can in zone 5B here.
It's got some thorns on it. It's like a brain-like apple fruit. Neon green. So just a couple of nice hardwoods we wanted to get on here too. So it's some big, a nice wall of trees here. Besides fruit.
We're not sure what this tree is. There's one leaf we could use to identify it, possibly.
This is a nice big American persimmon. Has not fruited for us yet, but it seems like it could. It's gotten a lot bigger in the past 4 years.
It got nibbled a little bit, you know, in the first year or so. So a lot of these trees, we covered some up, but we didn't fence every single tree up, and so even like the apples up front got nibbled and took a bit to grow.
Here we got a sugar maple, so your classic maple syrup variety of maples. It's probably been here 2 years. It's looking a little janky, but it's alive. And behind it here is another Osage orange. Now here's kind of the line where we start planting out more fruit trees, actual edible fruit trees. So we got a pawpaw tree here.
over here then as well.
Kind of buried in some goldenrod, but I think that helps with deer coverage and stuff. So
We got another Kentucky coffee tree here. So they actually lose their leaves fairly quickly as well. They're, with that Ohio Buckeye, they're one of the first to lose their leaves as well. So we got black locust and honey locust. So the black locust supposedly have thorns on them, which this one did. I just stabbed myself.
yeah, we scattered a lot of seeds, so we think that these are some of the seeds that came up. Yeah, these will be nitrogen fixing as well, and there's really nice hardwoods to have alongside us.
Over here we have a type of mulberry. I believe it's either like, I thought it was the Pakistan mulberry, something like that.
It's pretty overgrown right here. This is mainly our berry mound. We have goji berries in here. We have blackberries, red and gold raspberries, some rhubarb over here, some horseradish. You can actually see quite a bit of gojis hanging there still. Here's a blackberry.
Probably almost scoop all of these down the, yeah. Oh yeah. There you go. These spread pretty good too. They're good berry to take over a little area, but not terribly invasive. I wouldn't even say they're really invasive.
So we got custom-made pyramid-shaped trellis with hemp rope, where all these hops are growing up right now. At the end of their season, obviously. There's some cones at the top, but me and the cameraman built this sucker, got it painted. We did that last year, and we're surprised to see all these hops. They took every hemp rope up, and it filled it out great. Couldn't have dreamed of a better ending. So we might relocate these soon.
There's some over there as well, but these are one of the types of mushrooms like this on the property. These are called stinkhorns. Let's see if I can break this. Just don't want to break that guy. Oh, I lifted him up. When they're fresh, they have like a chocolate-looking type of substance on top, and it attracts a bunch of flies. And that's how they spread the spores around. They go from mushroom to mushroom. This variety is orange. The other ones are a lot bigger and they're fatter white ones with another brown cap.
So here's the front side of that berry mound. A lot of edible daylilies come up here in June. You can eat the flower. Daylily is very common around here. And we also planted, it's a sea buckthorn. So eventually one day that these will have Lots of clusters of orange berries on it. Very nutritious, good for the skin. And this is just the corner on the side of the house where we got our AC unit here. Keep our shovels here. And we got one bin where we put all of our compost in for juicing, and just even paper towel rolls and toilet paper rolls. It all goes in here, and we've never taken the soil out of this to use, but we just keep throwing our stuff in here and it just keeps sinking. So none of it goes in the garbage. It all goes out here. Got some rain barrels over here that we just picked up and haven't installed yet, so the next owners will have these here to use. There's some rhubarb down here.
So right along this big silver maple tree here, we got just a few things I want to point out. We got a bunch of this planted throughout the property, but this is comfrey. This one's, I mean, the other ones in the yard are doing pretty good right now. You know, right, this one looks pretty like it's going on its way. Another great herb, you know, for the skin, for the bowels, but it has a very deep taproot that goes down and pulls up a lot of nutrients from within the soil. And as it grows bigger and bigger each year, it's actually a great plant to chop and drop as well for some green mulch. So since this has a lot of nutrients here, you can just lay them right down, or even try and the bugs go away. Just kind of put them down near the base of the plants. This plant actually too is a cold hardy kiwi. We can grow some kiwis here. They're not the kiwis you're used to seeing. They don't have the brown fuzzy hair. They're actually more of like a hairless variety, just a green skin. And so we got it planted down here. We got the different branches and part of the vine going out, and then we actually stapled them in the tree to kind of hold them in place until they wrap around the tree.
Here's our front porch space, and as you probably saw in some of our past videos, we built this trellis that we anchored to these posts from the garage track that we took down, had it painted up, and our plan was to plant 2 more of those cold hardy kiwi on this. We got one smaller one going. We got a bigger one over here that's actually making its way up, so
We have a lot of these plants. We scattered a bunch of seeds for lupine, and it's a nitrogen fixing plant. These leaves right here, they actually will send off also like a tall stalk of flowers, probably about 6 to 8 inches tall, maybe a little less than that. So also along here, we actually have a random melon plant that started growing here. We got a couple of random melons growing, but it's actually taking over. We have 4 rows of Sharon plants right here too, and it's actually kind of weighing this down a bit. It's actually wrapping itself. There's a little melon right there. Break that. I didn't even notice this before.
It's a little guy. Volunteer, just from throwing compost out here, seeds. Probably gonna go.
Nah.
Yeah, we better harvest that guy. It goes quick. whole space used to be all grass, all regular lawn. So you can see where we sort of ended it. We drew all these lines up, kept this little lawn area up here, and the rest we did fruit trees and prairie. So over on this right hand side is our cherry zone for the most part. Some nectarines. Yeah, we'll walk on over here and show you. So Brandon over there is standing by a Lappin's cherry. It's got some nice growth at the top. That was one that we planted here. The reason why we chose this area to continue doing cherries is because this big cherry right here, this was here before we got here. It's got to be like around 20 years old. Produces really well. The birds get to it really fast, but it always does produce yearly, and the flowers are wonderful as well. So we kind of made this area the cherry area. So back here, another cherry tree we planted. This one's doing pretty well. It's grown tall quick. Against this fence line, we got a mimosa. Nice fern type leaves. It's actually more of like a zone 6 tree, so we're on the edge of zone 6 enough where it could work, but early springs and cold springs could knock off flower buds earlier, so we don't really know yet if we'll get good flowers on these trees, but we have a couple of these on the property.
We have a nectarine right here. We have a few more on the property. One right down here. I'll show you later. A few more up front. Another persimmon tree right here then. Again, the wild one. All the tags fell off. We don't have an actual marking system for some of these, or we never really did. That was permanent.
Here we got an Arctic Queen nectarine. Arctic Queen. Spots, but she's sticking in there. Here's another pair. Like we said before, a lot of deer have been munching these for the last 3 years, so sort of bonsaiing them, but I believe they'll shoot up and they'll be really strong at the trunk. We're just gonna let nature run its course. Here's a common apple. We were gifted several apple trees and it just came up as a common apple, so we don't know what type it is. It will be an apple variety. So this is a Star King Delicious Dwarf Plum.
We got another pair, I believe, here.
This one actually shot up pretty good.
Yeah, it grew quite a bit this year.
It really did well.
It's hard to tell what all of them are without the tag on them. This is a medlar tree. Actually, I believe related to the apple. You can see the little fruit on there. That's the medlar fruit. It's actually, I think we have a second one on here somewhere unless it fell off. That's actually the first medlar fruit that we got on this plant, on this tree.
It's supposed to have like a cinnamon apple-y flavor. This big girl right here is a hardy almond. It's really gotten big. One of our biggest fruit trees. About like 4 years old on this property. And right here is a quince. A lot of people make pies with the quince. A lot of people don't eat them straight up raw. They like to cook this fruit. You can see below we have more comfrey growing at the base. We try to put comfrey next to trees.
We have another honey locust here. And then a little bit past it here, we have a peach tree. And actually we had some storm damage done to it this year. It's actually still alive though. There were a few peaches on just this one branch alone, and they were able to continue growing, and we were able to harvest them. But yeah, so that's damage there. Here's one peach tree here. We also have another peach tree right over there to the left. We have a few scattered throughout this area, but otherwise there's a few more I will show you that are scattered throughout the rest of the property.
Here's another sea berry. This one took really well.
We have some more volunteer squash just randomly growing here.
The thing that's cool about all this is we laid so much mulch in between all this fruit forest area that you could just kind of plant anything in these spots, and it's a good garden. So all this mulch is breaking down to produce good soil, so you could just place a broccoli plant anywhere in this mulch between these fruit trees, and like you got garden space everywhere. Here's another peach. Got a little bit of fungus on it, but it actually did produce a lot of fruit for us this year.
It was the first year too that actually produced plums for us.
Peaches.
Or peaches.
This autumn blaze maple was here before we got here. We actually chopped the whole tree down, and then it all came back, so we just kind of left it shrub up like that. So it has multiple shoots now.
We ended up taking the trunks and bury them along the whole north side of the property, starting from where that almond was. We actually had a lot of watermelons growing on the berm at one point, but we were trying to mimic what's called a hugelkultur. We didn't dig a hole and bury the trunks, but we actually laid the trunks down, put dirt, mulch, and compost and horse manure up on top of it. So we were trying to sacrifice a few trees to create the hugelkulturs. This is probably one of the tallest honey locusts that we've got on the property.
Here we have a mountain ash tree.
Here's a plum.
This is the plum. What is it? Does it say?
Actually, there was one here.
A methley plum.
M-E-T-H-L-E-Y. This tree's had quite a life so far. This branch snapped, and we didn't really have anything for like wrapping it. This branch was still kind of alive at one point. We tried covering that up with like melted beeswax, and then it dried right away, but seemed to work, but
got another sea berry back here. Sea berry is actually another nitrogen fixer. That's another reason why we planted it. We have not seen the orange berries yet, but the next owners will, and that'll be amazing. This is a Rhode Island apple. Rhode Island greening. So it's a nice green variety of apple. So here is where we started to mow, and we made a little trail going through to the front of the property.
over here is where we kind of start the other fruit trees. We have our apple zone area right here. But before we actually get to all the apple trees, we had dug out an area here, and it kind of became a seasonal pond that fills up in the spring when we get a lot of rain. The apple tree right here has not been doing too well right alongside it, but you can see it's really sunk down in there. We'll get frogs coming in when it fills up. And right behind Brady too, you can see the flowers coming up on those plants, those yellow ones. All of those are Jerusalem artichokes. What's the other from? Sunchokes?
Sunchokes.
I always call them sunchokes. I don't know why I call them Jerusalem artichokes. And then I got the word that I always call them.
We've even spread some milkweed seeds throughout here. We just collected some fluff balls throughout the last year. Threw them all around the mulch and raked them in. So we have some milkweed coming up here too. It's good for the butterflies.
There are a few apple varieties. This one I believe is called the Desert Rose apple. A lot of these trees are all different heirloom varieties as well. Opalescent. Should be the opalescent apples. This is probably one of the best apples that we had purchased in regards to growth. Just the diameter of the trunk and everything.
It's actually like, we put that pond there because this was the wettest part of our yard. So like this apple tree, you can tell at the base of it, tipped. And it's sort of on an angle. It really just sunk and tipped, but now we just let it go and everything's kind of going up straight now, but you can train branches back, but we just kind of left the trees that tipped here in this area. Same with this one. This one also sank and tipped. And now we have a lot of vertical branches coming up, but this one's really on an angle. And we just didn't try to repair it. It's kind of cool what's going on here. It's straightened up and has a canopy now. So, the white pearmain from England in the 1200s.
This is another heirloom variety that has taken really well. The Gravenstein.
We got a Wolf River apple right next to the driveway here, a native Wisconsin apple. found here. So we got that guy. It produces very large apples, very large apples. I also got another one of these Kentucky coffee trees down in here. It's very covered with thistles and even another box elder, but it's in here. Some vetch we got going on throughout the property. Another apple tucked away here. This guy. It's got a lot of that nightshade growing up in it. It's pretty crazy. A lot of people would say, why the heck do you have nightshade growing through your apple tree? But it's got some use right now. It's all living. We're just letting it go. A lot of new native plants coming in. And it's disguising it from the deer.
It's brighter than those. Well, they look pretty bright. Path kind of weaves through here, but we also kind of made a little triangle right here. So we actually have an apple right in that center of that triangle here. Another common apple that was given to us. We have another common apple right over here on the other side of the path. Right over here, and we have a few of these. They're lying down the path going this way. These are called Nanking cherries. They're a shrub versus like the other cherry trees, but they produce a little cherry. They flower pretty early in the year. So we have about 5 of them. That's the first one. There's actually one behind it on the other side of it, but here's 3, 4, 5, and then 6 back here. We have a thick layer of mulch, so we didn't really make the path continue all the way there. We would at some point otherwise, but kind of waiting for the mulch to break down. We have a peach tree here. We have a few peaches actually scattered here. We'll get a little closer over there, but here's one right here. And that is the nectar peach. I've not had peaches from this tree at all, so. But it's looking really good. They're starting to really grow. This year they've grown more than any other year. Another peach over here. You can fill up the tags on it. Apple trees right here in the triangle shape here. We also have another Kentucky coffee tree growing right here. It's already kind of losing its leaves again. It's, like I said, one of the first to go. Another peach tree right here. And another peach tree right here. So we got at least 4 or 5 peaches roughly in this vicinity right here. This actually has a few peaches on it, or it did. I don't see them anymore. And the ground. It's got some holes in it. I think the other ones are picked up.
There's a bee in it. There's a bee inside of it. Should just come out. There he is. Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
Do you want to take a bite, dude? I mean, it's pretty shitty right here, but this looks really good.
Take a bite. Just like 8 more bees in it.
Yeah. Half of a peach. Let the bees get in.
It's good.
Is it interesting?
It's not quite ripe, but it's close.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Chuck it. Beep. All right.
That was good.
I think that's just like the rootstock peach.
It is.
It's like, it might be too.
Still good. It was really sweet. Just, it was crunchy.
The mulch really,
Like a pear.
that citation rootstock got so thick in a matter of like 2 years. I mean, it was more of a stick, and then like literally like, look at the size of it now. Like,
Yeah, this is like a. It's really wide compared to any of our other peach trees.
this has been that. Like, yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I don't know how many years old it was when we first got it.
This will be
Probably,
nuts in like 5 years.
but that diameter freaking probably doubled or tripled in size in a year. It was nuts. We have a ton of lupine here. You can actually see some of it flowering. Still flowering. Nitrogen fixing plant that we mentioned before. We have 2 different varieties actually on here. But this grew so much this year, it actually kind of overtaken our aronia berries. We have 3 different cages going over there. We have this aronia berry bush is literally just covered. There's so much lupine.
Here's some big comfreys. We got a pear back here. This has been getting munched for years by the deer. So this is the tallest it's ever been, but it's like 5 years old. So we think it'd be taller, but this thing is like got thick at the base, but it's ready to go.
We have one more pear over here. Again, also got nibbled by deer.
We got another apple right here. Just tangled in some queens and lace. It's got some comfrey below it as well.
This is actually a pluot. So a pluot is a cross between the plum and apricot, and there's also the aprium, which is a cross between the plum and apricot. But pluot is 75% plum and 25% apricot. Aprium would be 75% apricot, 25% plum. Yeah, flavor grenade. Another locust tree coming up here. A bunch of random trees. Another locust back there. At some point, this will be, in a way, a little forest.
This is a superior plum variety. That's at the front of this peach section.
This is also, I think, another This right here is called the bubblegum plum. Another plum growing here. It's the best it's ever looked.
Got some huge comfrey. Some big comfrey next to another common apple down here as well.
In this area we have a few more pears. We have a pear right here. And then we actually have a couple more pears over there, but they're Asian pears. This tree has two different varieties growing off of it. We actually let the rootstock grow, so you'll see the rootstock on one half of the tree, and then there's a grafted variety of that Asian pear. And you can see the difference in the leaves, but they're all coming off the same main trunk.
And right at the front, another honey locust. And another Asian pear right at the tip of this edge along the driveway. And this one's really shot up too. It's just, this last year has been the best growth season yet. These trees are ready to go.
There's also a river birch tree in here as well. So just adding to the whole variety of different trees.
And then a little sea berry sticking up here too. So it's all laid out pretty good. A lot of trees in every gap. Good spacing, but I mean 10 years from now I can't imagine.
So there's a fence all around the whole entire permaculture, or the fruit forest in front. That's also intended. I have a dog that kind of fenced off a certain area, and it helps kind of keep everything contained. Along here, we actually had planted a bunch of different wildflower seeds. Some came up. A lot of thistle did kind of impede, but throughout the summer we actually have quite a few different varieties of wildflowers that do pop up on the edge of this fence here.
There's one coming up.
Yeah.
No lighting right now. Behind this big spruce, we planted some yucca. About 2 years old. We're gonna missing their 5 flower next year. At least the big ones, small ones. Then we also like to break branches off of other trees in certain areas and just stick like a stick of it into the ground, and that's what you can do really easily with the willow. Just took a willow branch out from next to a native pond around here and just stuck it in. This thing's like 2 years old, but yeah, we stuck a few willows in, some, what's this guy right here, Brendan?
The white poplar.
White poplar. So we just found this on the edge of the woods around town here and just dug it up with a shovel and just brought some back. And like I found out that a few weeks down the road they actually plowed all that and took all the forest out that was there so they could expand a little parking area. So I picked some of these guys up right in time because I got to save like 3 of them. There's also one back in. It's just covered right now.
Yeah, covered. It was crazy how big this willow got in 2 years. I mean, it was like a stick in the ground last spring. And that thing is at least 2.5 inches wide in diameter. But not the bottom. It's like a donut shaped, like, growth ring. That's cool.
So we're walking back towards the house again at the start of this trail. We got a definite curved area that's all lined with peach trees and tayberries. We have a little bit of other plant life mixed in. We got some more comfrey here. Another honey locust right on the edge here. That'll look nice, popping up. And then yeah, on this rim we got tayberry and peach trees all one after another. It goes tayberry, peach, tayberry, peach, tayberry, peach, all the way around this rim. And a tayberry, we believe it's a cross between a blackberry and a loganberry. And these tayberries are really juicy. It's like it tastes like sweet jam, more than like a raspberry actually would. I mean, these are like jelly, sweet jelly.
This whole area in here, we dumped a lot of leaf compost and spread a lot of seeds over the last couple of years. This year a lot of burdock and a lot of thistle came in, but birds love it. Have one type of crabapple right in the middle of this whole area.
One last peach. One last peach from this tree right here. We believe it's the rootstock, which is a citation. So if that's true, then these are just little citation peaches. This isn't the actual graft that we planted. Just want to shake it. Shake it out.
Shake it.
Here it comes. Oh, nice, dude. Look at
Got
that
her.
guy. We'll be eating these in seconds.
It smells so good. This is kind of like the start then, coming up the driveway of our little garden that we have right here. This tree we planted is actually, this is about 3 years of growth here. It's called the yellow horn. And it hasn't gotten much bigger in 3 years. It's definitely grown over the last couple, but
It's good here though.
haven't really seen too much of what this tree can really be, you know. But otherwise we have these trees right here. We got one right here, and actually one just down over here along next to the fence. These are Cornelian cherries. They're more of a dwarfed variety. That one over there has actually gotten bigger and produced some Cornelian cherries for us this year, but otherwise they've been about this size for the last 3 to 4 years. They haven't really grown too much. This one actually has the most leaves that it's ever had though this year.
At the end of this garden we got a quince tree right here. It flowered this year, but it didn't produce any fruit. But it's a really nice, fragrant flower.
Right here we have a gomi. berry bush. We also have another one just right behind us here. It's smaller, it's caged still, but this one really grew, produces red gummy berries. Birds love them. They actually got them pretty quickly when they were actually ready to eat. So we only had maybe one of them this year.
And this is another nitrogen fixer. So we planted a couple of these. We would love to use these more in permacultures coming up here.
And we got some lavender down there. And we got a few more yucca plants bordering right over here. Along this fence line here, we have planted these really tall grasses, and you can see they're actually flowering this year. They feel like a twine almost. But this is the second year. They had about a full summer last year, not quite a full summer, but this is their second year. You can see they're probably about 10 feet tall right now. They actually can get between 12 to 15 feet tall. They'll get thicker and then they'll dry in the fall, and they'll just be like a brownish type of color, but it'll look pretty decorative.
So this is the south side of our house right here. We're on the south end facing. And we put a little stump bed here. Perimeter of stumps, and then we planted a lot of yucca in here. And there's some lovage too, another herb. Queen Anne's lace really took this over this year, but inside of the yucca here, some big yuccas over here. So I'm thinking these will flower next year. And this guy is just a homemade tube. It had a nice decorative rim on it. It's just like a turquoise sewer tube. And we just painted it, drilled some holes, and we never actually filled it with anything, but except there is dirt in here. But if we fill it all the way up, we can. Our plan was to have a nice plant on top that hung down, and then you can plant other little plants in here that vine down. So it'll be a nice colorful tube once it gets planted out.
All along the south side of the house here, we have this little garden bed that we had made also. Brady had grabbed a seed from a wisteria vine down in Cleveland.
Down in Cincinnati.
Or Cincinnati, sorry.
Yeah, so that's Cincinnati's like zone 6. We're 5B up here, so it's been lasting a few winters here.
The mulch helps, and being on the south side of the property helps.
And we do have another video on this guy, but this was it's from a table that me and my buddy have a welding business, and we just didn't need the table anymore. So all the framing to this is the old table, just cut in different ways, and we just screwed in like a plastic like ceiling light panel all throughout the back wall, the top, the doors. So this is like a nice warmer, humid area where you can grow seeds in here. We do have the build of this in another video. Just trying to use what we got. Be clever.
We have a Chicago hardy fig. It's the only fig that can really grow up here, but it doesn't have enough time to really produce the fruit. But you can see that it's actually producing some fruit right now, but being in the first week of October, I'm about to go into the second week, it's not going to have enough time to completely produce the fruit. But it comes back every year by the base.
It's just beautiful foliage though.
And then underneath it, I'm going all the way down the rest of this bed, and even starting to curve down the east side of the property, we have a bunch of pine berries. And the pine berry is basically a white strawberry. It's completely white, and then the other fruit, the fruit part of the seeds that you'd say on the strawberry, is red. A little spider right here chilling. What's up, little guy? We have some other strawberries planted on the east side as well.
This is another project build. We got another video on this as well. This is our old garage, 2-stall garage door that we made. Used all the hinges, kept the window pane for the top door, so this can either be used as like a big worm bin, or we're just throwing grass in here right now and weeds, so this will all break down nice and go feed these strawberries. But you could also start seeds in here, you could start whatever. So we got a nice big box here. And the strawberries just wrap all the way around it and make its way down the rest of the house this way around the corner. Everything's filling in pretty good. And right behind you, still the south side of the house against the forest line, the property line. We planted a little horseshoe-shaped area of currants, gooseberries, josta berries.
That's it.
I believe that's it, yeah.
Red, white, and black currants, so we had 3 different varieties of those.
Here's a big gooseberry right here. We get quite a bit of fruit from these in early June. It's a nice array of little colors coming out. Like once you get them all in a bowl together, it's just like a little bowl of jewels.
Here's one of the currants right here. One to the right is actually, I think all the leaves are off of it right now, so it's kind of hard to see.
Those gooseberries turning nice and red. Another one down in this corner. A josta berry right here.
Coming over here, we actually have a nice mulberry tree. It produced actually a good amount of fruit this year. It's still pretty small. It's not a big mulberry tree yet.
Still a young tree.
Last year it produced some like little mini tiny ones, and they didn't really fully develop. This year we actually were able to snack on a bunch of them. But I would think next year they'd have a lot more mulberries coming here.
Now we're making it to the end of the driveway. We've left a path here going down the wood line. And we had a lot of wild plums, wild American plums that grow along this border. I mean, they're just loaded. This is loaded in late July, I believe.
Yeah, beginning of August.
Yeah. And there's still some hanging there, yeah. These are pretty good to snack on. Every one of them tastes kind of different too. But yeah, you see we're walking along the backside of our gooseberry area right here, so we have a nice path just taking us to the backyard. Out of that path, we make it to our old apple tree. This was here when we moved in. And it just produces wheelbarrows full of apples every other year, it seems. We don't know the variety, but it's almost like a Red Delicious, sort of. It's pretty firm.
A little smaller
than a Red Delicious you find at the store, yeah. But it makes some good juice. to have an old fruit tree on the property is like gold. Like history, you know?
Yeah, I really wonder when this was planted.
Like, this is the only one in this area.
Special.
You hear that tree? You're special.
You're coming up to the last tree here that we had planted. It's a catalpa tree. So we got this back here. Planted it last year. Did well this year.
Catalpa.
Yeah.
Produces big bean-shaped seed pods. It's native around here in Wisconsin. You find them a lot around lakes. It's getting dark.
Yeah.
Here's our front berm. We're getting close to the west side of the property against the road, against our main road. And this is where we got all of our chips dropped off throughout the years. So we have a big mound here of chips, and it's kind of overgrown with a lot of wildflowers. Some trees overtook it. But it's making a lot of good coverage for the house. You can't even see the house from the road anymore.
We had a few trees in here as well that aren't fruiting. We got the bald cypress. You can see this is like the best one out of the 4. We got 2 in the wildflower area. Yeah, it looks really nice here.
Yeah, we tried to put 2 directly across from each other on the driveway, so eventually you'll drive underneath bald cypresses. So yeah, this used to be all grass here. All grass up to the road, and we ripped out a lot of sod up here, all the way down to the telephone pole. All the sod is ripped up in front of this berm, and we laid a lot of wildflower seed, covered it up with some compost, and yeah, we've had a lot come through. We got a lot of different types of native prairie flowers, and
We actually had these really long rolls of like black tarp. We laid that all down, grabbed a ton of bricks and weighed it down.
killed off the grass at first, yeah.
Let it kind of sit for a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks or so.
Then lifted all the plastic, and after that we decided to cut it out.
A lot of poplar came in. That'll look nice. That'll look nice once it's kind of grown up a little more. Nice little patches of poplar. And then down the entire way we have peaches and nectarines going all the way down along the mulch berm. We have a smaller one that you probably can't see with the wildflowers.
I can point out.
That one is a nectarine, the gold mine nectarine, and that thing produced a ton of nectarines for us this year. They were smaller, probably about the size of this peach. They were probably about that size. They never got any bigger. We had a ton, probably at least 70 to 80 of them for sure.
We staggered it every other. Peach nectarine, peach nectarine. Here's another peach. These are some of our best peaches in the front on this west side. Like we're pretty close to the lake here. It gets a lot of good sun, but it's also probably cooler here with the breezes. So, but these really took off. I think it's because of the mulch piles we have backed up behind them. That really helped with the growth of these. Some of the first ones to fruit too. We're up in this front area.
They weren't the first ones planted.
They were a year behind.
They're a year behind most of them.
And the city has also been on our ass about all of this. Like, you're supposed to be 15 feet away from the center of the road, and which we are. We're well over 15 feet away That's where like we always cut the grass just in this ditch and just leave this wildflower area. The city's been on our butts about making it a varmint problem. We got a varmint problem, you know, too many animals. You know, we just told them to screw off plenty of times, and they haven't really bothered us. Besides, they came in and they tried to cut some of it down, but just like the very edge of it. So I don't know, you just hold your ground and just do your thing on your property. You have the right to do what you want, and we're just trying to restore
our city is taking down tons of forest and native land to put neighborhoods in. You know, it's like where all the wildlife's supposed to go. And we actually had a lot of wildlife come back because we did all this. You know, so we're not letting the people of the city dictate anything.
Yeah, it goes all the way down to the power pole.
This peach right here produced some really nice peaches for us. We probably got about a good 30 to 40 nice sized peaches.
Heirloom silver Logan peach.
They're about that size.
That one was so juicy. That was a great one. Yeah, here we get to the end. And it's getting pretty dark out, so.
Property goes right up to here.
Yeah, and then right to the left here we have our neighbor's yard that starts, the turf grass begins again. So we took all the berms to the edge of this property line.
It's cool because when you drive past, you can hear all the crickets chirping in our yard. You pass the yard and it just dies. There's no sound. Here's the same grass that we had planted up by the power pole up by the driveway. Planted a few of those rhizomes there. And then there's one last peach over here. It's the it's a nectarine, I'm sorry. Fantasia nectarine is the name of it.
Hell yeah.
That's a permaculture. It took about four good years of our time to produce this, but it was all worth it. It was all worth it, and learned a lot. Do things a lot differently next time around. We learned from a lot of our mistakes, but all in all, you just let nature do its thing.
Yeah, it's October 7th right now, and tomorrow, October 8th, we silted. So yeah, we have to be out of the house tomorrow morning, so.
It was the last night.
So we are on to building more permacultures. We're going to do more and sell more houses and just get, you know, people growing more stuff, and we'll plant it for them and just restore turf grass yards into more edible and natural habitats, preserves. So that's what we're about.
We want to buy property in multiple different places throughout the United States as well, so that people can then come and stay at the properties too and get an idea for what permaculture is, and be able to harvest food while they're staying at these properties. You know, it's basically a sanctuary, an oasis. It's nice being around all the nature and around that abundance.
Heck yeah, so thank you for walking along with us, and flip the camera around. Thank you to this guy. He helped make this property as well. It's been great. So thank you.
See you guys.
Peace out.
Peace.